Andy Hurley may best be known for being in Fall Out Boy, but his love for music comes from his roots in hardcore and straight edge scenes. If you're a big FOB fan, you may know about Race Trader, Sect, and Kill the Slave Master, but Andy has been in tons of other hardcore bands since his freshman year of high school. We've counted at least 16 so far, and we're constantly finding more. Andy's first two hardcore bands were called Global Scam, which we only have this one photo of, and Lifeline, which played one show at his high school battle of the bands. Andy was on Harsh vocals, and this is the only band he has ever done lead vocals for.
Okay, FOB archive team, X Lifeline, X mentioned. How do you know all this stuff?
To better understand Andy's connections in the Chicago scene, you also have to look at the connections he made in his home state of Wisconsin. Between Racine and Milwaukee, he made a lot of friends. The first notable Wisconsin band was Project Rocket, which is a band many of you will recognize. Though it was a pop-punk project, 3/4 of the members were from Wisconsin and active in various local hardcore bands. Project Rocket featured Kyle Johnson on guitar, TJ Minich on vocals, Andy Hurley on drums, and Noah Nickel, the only Chicago-based member, on bass. Project Rocket's previous bassist, Seth Ingebrigtsen, was in Kill the Slave Master. Kyle Johnson is the one on the left, and he'll be important later. Andy was also big homies with the dudes from Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. You can see him lurking in the background of this photo, taken at one of their last shows. This band also featured Kyle Johnson, this time on bass, as well as a cast of loads of other important Wisconsin scene dudes: guitarist Matt Matera and Ryan Morgan, vocalist Matthew Mixon, and drummer Jared Logan. You might know Jared Logan best as the producer of Evening Out with Your Girlfriend. Seven Angels, Seven Plagues went on tour with Arma Angelus, Pete Wentz's metallic hardcore band that Andy briefly played bass for, in the summer of 2001. Matthew Mixon is one of the more notable members of Seven Angels, Seven Plagues in regard to Andy's hardcore past. You may recognize him from this picture. He's on Andy's left, in the Jigglypuff costume. Mixon was the vocalist for Seven Angels, Seven Plagues' Jasmine's Lullaby, their only full-length release. He also played guitar in End This Day and For Death or Glory. Andy was actually a member of For Death or Glory, back when it was originally named I Have a Fear. He played a grand total of 2 shows, before quitting abruptly before their third. For Death or Glory had a wildly inconsistent lineup that often featured members of 7A, as well as a rotating cast of their various friends and affiliates. Matthew Mixon also provided vocal features across Misery Signals' Of Malice and the Magnum Heart. Misery Signals is another band that Andy has close connections with. Kyle Johnson from Project Rocket and Ryan Morgan from For Death or Glory were both in it. Andy was actually almost the drummer for Ms. Sigs, but had to choose between them and FOB. Mixon shows up in other places aside from the obvious band overlap. He got paid to hang out with Andy on the Honda Civic tour back in 2007. He was also at Andy and Meredith's wedding alongside his Fuck City comrades Ryan and Kyle. Fuck City will be explained further in our next post. Now you know how Andy got his start in the hardcore scene and met a ton of lifelong friends. But how does that lead to Andy being on MTV Cribs living in a borderline frat house? We'll reveal this in part 2.